Hello, guys. I want to share with you that content marketing is my heart. I can explain why. Today it's hard to get results without content marketing. And I remember when Seth Godin, one of the best marketers, proclaimed content marketing is one marketing left. The main reason because customers don't buy from unrecognizable brands, they want to get value first. So today we are going to discuss more about content marketing, and I'm so excited to discuss this topic with Chandal Nolasco da Silva. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks, Anatoly. Thanks so much for having me on the podcast today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, for me, yeah, it's a pleasure to learn from specialists, experts who can share some valuable insights because, I'm a student on this life. I keep learning every single day, and I understand that you can't learn everything. Of course, it's better to learn from the best. So that's why I invite the best, and I know that you know good this topic. Before we start, just tell more about your experience, background, and why you decided to share with us about content marketing.
Oh, wow. Look, it's been over a decade, and I actually started my career in environmental science, a very different field. But, if you're a scientist of any kind, you probably like data analytics. I ended up moving to Montreal and completely switching careers going into marketing. And, I did 3 different agencies before I went in-house enterprise. And then the last couple of years have been startups. So, I've done local, I've done international, I've done B2B, I've done B2C. But I will say that entry point of, sort of data analytics and writing, creating a clear message for an audience, it spans across different industries. So those were really great skills to get me started in marketing. But I stay in the field because I love it. Constant new challenges, new landscapes, new technology, new client types. It's a fun ride.
Yeah, I love it, love it. I think if you don't love what you do, it's better to find another job, to skip it, and you will never regret. It's my attitude because, yeah, I love creating content to get results with content marketing as well. Because I think that when people have the hard feeling that they need to create a new piece of content, it's hard. Guys, find another job, because content marketing is a great niche, and you need to love what you do, to love your audience, to share some insights. And I have the first question for you. Tell me where to start. For example, if I launch a new product, I don't know what to do. Marketing is huge. I have many different channels. How to find my channel in content marketing? Because we have SEO, we have social media, we have webinars, many stuff, ebooks. Can you tell how to find the right channel?
Absolutely. Content marketing for any product, industry, service, you have to create a strategy, right? You have to come up with a plan. And really, that's a data-driven process. So you're starting with a goal. What am I trying to do? What's the desired outcome of my content marketing? Is it to sell more products online? Maybe it's to get more newsletter subscribers. Maybe you have a customer churn problem and it's to retain customers, So you're starting with this goal, and then you're looking at all of the sources of analytics data that you have available to you as a marketer to say, what does my audience like? Where do they learn about solutions like mine? And what's the voice and tone that they respond to, and so on. But right in there, I just answered the question, which is, how do they learn about solutions like mine? What channels are they using? Do they come through social media? Do they come through organic? Do they learn about my solution mostly from in-person trade shows? I don't know. It's different for every industry, product, service, and so on, right? So you're really, to determine the right channels, you have to create an effective strategy, which is really going, what am I trying to do? And what's the audience doing today that I can leverage to bring back to my strategy, so I can do more of that and speak directly to them. But you can look at competitors, right? You can say, what are my competitors doing? What channels are they doing? But I would caution, because what your closest competitor is doing won't necessarily work for you. So don't just play the copycat game, But if you're a really young startup and you don't have your own data to look into, then you kind of have no choice. You have to look at what competitors are doing and then look at your resources, right? To say, do I have the resources to support content in all of these channels consistently? Content marketing really is about that consistent effort.
I couldn't agree more, especially when you mention about competitors. Don't do what your competitors do, because, I see this trap, in many times. Many times, for example, I remember when some clients came to me and asked, I don't know why I can't get results for 2 years, because I do everything that my competitors do. I'm trying to promote the same pages. I'm trying to use the same channels. But if you have no strong positions with that, for example, your competitors might have good content, have good link building campaigns, huge resources, or even experience. For example, if I'm not good with filming videos, why I need to jump on YouTube? If it's not my strong side. So I think we need to analyze competitors in order to find their weak side and think where is your strong side. When I have strong side on TikTok, why not? Yeah, I can go to TikTok. So yeah, I love your ideas. Can you tell how to find ideas for your content plan? For example, I know, okay, I want to cover this channel. I have strong positions, but how to find ideas? What kind of content I need to promote, create to cover my buying persona?
Oh, buying journey is so okay. That's a great question. And there's a lot of different ways to answer it, right? Like if you're just looking for a quick blog topic, there's tools out there. You can scrape the internet. You can look at top ranking posts under sort of that query umbrella. But, really, you don't want to just create you don't just want to jump on bandwagons. Like it comes back to being strategic again and looking at your goal, right? So you want to be creating content topics for each stage of the buying journey, from that awareness all the way down to purchase. But you have a goal within that that's unique to your strategy. So you're going to weight content heavily towards that goal, but you can't ignore these other stages of the funnel, right? So the funnel is really a useful tool for marketers to make sure that they're covering all their bases, and answering sort of all of the pieces of information that their audience needs to hear at those different stages. And that can take different forms, right? It could be an ebook, it could be an article topic, it could be a tool, it could be just a static web page on your site. But ultimately, if you're buying, I love my shoes example because it's so easy to come back to. But top of the funnel, what are the best types of shoes for high arches? What are the most durable shoes for hiking? These are those really top funnel queries that you're going to try and answer in a blog post or something. You'll track someone through search. But once you get further down the funnel, you're getting very intentional about educating your audience about who you are and why you offer a reputable or credible solution to their problem, whether it's the case study content that sort of does the selling for you, or some other form of convince content, as we like to say. So when it comes to creating topics, yes, there's as it happens, there's stuff that's trending, and that's certainly going to help you to create great content on the spot. But taking a step back and making sure that you're getting those evergreen topics and making content strategic for you, I think that's going to be much more helpful than any sort of what can we write about today momentum. I think it's really it's going to be much more effective to create that evergreen content that will serve you now and in the future.
Yeah, interesting about that. Can you tell more about creating content strategy? For example, you mentioned about top funnel. How to find these ideas? Because for example, I often see when content creators take topics that are overwhelmed or overpriced. For example, we have a lot of other high quality content, and it's hard to create a new piece of content and compete with them. for me, it's better to search for topics that have a lack of quality content, outdated information, where I know that my content will be much better than existing content. Can you tell about content strategy? How do you create your content strategy, and how to measure results after implementing?
Big questions there. Like, I mean, I think we're talking about many things. So, strategy really comes back to that first answer that I gave, really looking at goals, audience data, how they behave, and creating a way to consistently meet the audience at all of those touch points with effective content. For top funnel content, like you were talking about, just, low competition is helpful to start with. High volume, low competition, that's a beautiful ratio that every SEO or content marketer loves to see, and you want to dive in that topic, and you want to do well by your audience. But what I like to do there is I will scrape the first 10 results and look at, okay, for this query that I really want to rank for, that's super important for my brand, it really gets to the core of my client's offering. What does Google think is the top 10 most relevant or highest quality source of information for that query? And, I'll do it incognito, obviously, but you usually see in the top 10 sort of a combination of different on-page elements that Google is appreciating and serving up there, whether it's markup, whether it's images, whether it's infographics, associated videos, whatever this top 10 bucket of content has given, I like to take all of that and more and put it in my article. So you have to outdo the top 10. And there is, a pretty straightforward roadmap for you to do that. And, if others have done a really, really good job at answering that question and you're struggling to find new ways to do it, call in experts, call in some experts to bring in quotes and really change the narrative, or at least add to the narrative. Don't just regurgitate, try and add to it at every chance you get.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, awesome. Can you tell about call to action? How to submit call to action to your content marketing campaigns? Because in the end, we want to sell. Yeah, all businesses want to sell more, and content marketing just can help to cover a buying journey. And how to sell with content marketing?
Oh, this is a golden question. And I think a lot of people misunderstand it. People look at content marketing and they go, oh, I wrote a blog and I didn't get a customer. Content marketing doesn't work for me. And that is sort of, that big misconception. But it is important to understand your buyer journeys and put those call to actions in key places, right? So you've got an amazing how to post on your blog that in some ways leads people to your solution, how to do the best PPC campaigns of all time. And you read this article and ultimately you're an agency and you're really just reading about Acquisio's solution. But we haven't said that in the blog post once. We're just really educating these people about how to create an amazing PPC campaign. If this starts ranking organically and it's getting tons of traffic, you know what? Throw a little banner in the middle, take them to your next ebook about why you're so great. Or, if it's really a lower funnel piece of content, like a case study, put a separate block at the bottom, not in your copy. Don't put it in your copy. Put it in a separate call to action box near the bottom. Are you ready for a demo? Let me show you how to do this. Whatever the CTA is that makes the most sense. You have to recognize where people are in their journey and plug that CTA where it makes sense. Even on your pricing page or your process page where the intent is probably a little bit more middle to low funnel. People are actually starting to explore. Those are great places to put CTAs. But I always see companies starting with a very, very, or they'll just put it on every blog post right in the text. If buy from us, and there's no quicker way to turn off an audience, especially one that you're just starting the relationship with, than hard selling to them when they're not ready, they don't trust you, they barely know who you are, you know?
Yeah. I opened your LinkedIn profile and found that you created content strategies for the biggest and sometimes most unexpected markets. Can you tell what is the difference to create content strategy for a new market, unexpected, or big markets that overwhelmed, overpriced, huge competition?
Oh my God. These are like such heavy hitter questions because the answer can be very long winded. When I say unexpected there, sometimes, you know, especially when you work at a marketing agency, you get a client who comes in the door and you're like, what are we marketing? You know, like at one point you sort of have to relearn industries as they come and go. Like, you know, I've done like random appointment scheduling software to huge animation studios to a piece of, a backpack or shoes to a very, very technical enterprise voice of customer software. You know, so there's so many different ways in which a content strategy would adapt to these different client types and industries. So some industries, especially when you're looking B2C, you're looking at local. You're always looking for, you're looking to build a local content strategy. And that's very, very, very different than, say, a B2B SaaS company that operates on an international level where you're going to need to collaborate, with different regions, different influencers, different languages. And so it starts to become really comprehensive. You need a team, you know, and you need a very organized team. You need tools to facilitate this content strategy. Whereas if you're just starting out, maybe it's a very small business, you can make content marketing work for you as a one-person shop at a startup, let's say. So the strategy will look very, very different just from that 10,000 foot view, you know, depending on those different markets. But the other thing is channels, right? Like if you are, again, you know, just some like pop-up online shoe store, you could probably get by with a content marketing strategy that's relying very heavily on influencer marketing and social media. Whereas, you know, my latest gig has been in finance. That's never going to work. You know, you could put out 1 million TikTok videos. No one in the Canadian finance industry is going to find your solution, right? You have to meet them where they are and figure out what causes them to buy. What are the signals that they need to receive from your brand to trust it enough and buy from you?
Yeah, love it, love it. I often see when companies are looking for jack of all trades who can provide everything to create strategy, to create content, to promote them, and just one freelancer. But you mentioned about a team. You need to have a team. Can you tell how to create the right team to hire the right people who can lead your marketing in the right direction?
Oh, you know, people take this for granted because hiring a team that will function together and ideate together and ultimately find success together isn't as easy as it sounds. But in terms of assembling those resources, first, you really want to start with your strategy before you just start rapid firing hiring. Sorry, that's
hiring.
You know what I mean?
Hiring.
Yeah,
Same. Closed. Someone firing, someone hiring. Yeah.
Both will happen. But no, I mean, so you want to like look at what channels am I trying to hit? What are going to be the most important for me to reach my audience? And what resources do I have today? Also, what talents do I have today, right? So every marketer, jack of all trades, or, you know, sort of the higher you go up the ladder, the more you're in charge of. You'll have your own strengths, right? So for me, it's content marketing. That's what I bring to the table, and SEO, right? So I don't want to hire someone else to do that. Like that's my superpower that I'm bringing to the table. But do I, let's say PPC is going to be a lucrative channel for us, or we're forecasting that, or we have data that suggests that. Well, I'm going to want a campaign manager who's going to have eyes on that campaign all the time for me, who's going to be constantly adjusting the bid, trying to get our costs down. And I simply won't have time for that. And it's not my baby, if you will. Excuse me. So yeah, it's looking at your channel. Same thing for social media. Social media is a constant effort. And, I don't hate, but it bothers me whenever there's someone who just takes one caption and just blasts it across all channels over and over and over, right? I think that's a lazy approach. There's different channels for a different reason. And you can get really creative and clever in each of them if you have the time and the understanding, or you specialize, right? And so I find social media is another area where I love to have a dedicated specialist. And no matter who you are, you have to have a designer. You have to have a designer that you trust, who can, get things out on time. I'm a wordsmith. Don't let me do design. Don't let me near it. Like you, I need a designer to come in and make my words look pretty, So, like that's a must-have for every team that I will ever be on. And then, in enterprise level, you really start to get your team of writers. Maybe you'll have a team of UX researchers that you're helping with. You'll get your data science team. And things can get really exciting in those circumstances.
Yeah, totally. I got a few requests. Please come to my podcast and share about video design because you are great with that. I replied to them, I know nothing about video design. It's not my strong side. I have a team who can know how create awesome video design, because everything what I can do just to film, to share some context, because I focus on that, and I have specialists in my team who can create this video design, awesome design. As you mentioned, you need to cooperate with designers. I know nothing about design, how to create web design, any design, even simple pictures. I know that many tips. You can go to Canva, many other tools, but why I need to do it if I have designers who can learn my mind and understand what I wanna get.
Yes.
And we spend some time to create this cohesive job. I just send the text and I get back design. Yeah, very simple. So yeah, I agree with you
100%.
about focusing on that. Can you tell 3 things that today it's better not to do? It's better to avoid. They might be obsolete or don't work today. From your experience, what is better marketers to avoid?
You know, 3 things. I think that, like, still today, this conversation around backlinks is pretty messy. I think anyone coming into SEO today is going to have missed sort of a decade of algorithm updates and this like long and checkered history of content creation under like this umbrella of link building. It's like such a dirty word today. So I think for any new SEOs coming in and reading about link building, like really you just want to stick to creating that high quality content for your audience. But another thing I will say is, like, let's say you're really focused on a piece of low hanging fruit. You know that if you build 5 to 10 high quality backlinks in the next couple of months with this dedicated anchor text, that you will maybe make it to the first page. You're on the second page. It's a near-term opportunity. It'll probably push it into the first page, getting you hundreds, if not thousands more visits to your site. I think one really strong piece of information that comes from my agency days is about website qualification. So people say, oh, get a high quality backlink. Oh, they've got a good domain authority. Woo, party on. like you really are not doing enough to protect your website and your brand at that point. If you're really going for link building, you have to be so careful. So qualification is literally everything. You're looking at not just the domain's authority, but its backlink profile, its spam score, its history. Like, was that domain at one point a pornography site? I don't know. Go look at the Wayback Machine. It will tell you. And then you're also looking for the on-page signals as well, right? Are they selling links? Is the sponsored content labeled properly? So, like a lot of junior SEOs come in and they go, oh, cool, this website has a good domain authority, and they allow guest posts. But actually jumping on that opportunity is going to harm your website or brand more than it's going to benefit it. And I know that advice is becoming cliche, but there's so much of that advice on the internet that it's really hard to keep track. And so people start to skim and they start to cherry pick and they go, okay, I think what I took away from this is I can go write a guest post. It should be long, and I'll place it on this website with high domain authority and everything will be great. But, if that website flagged by Google's algorithm as this is a site that's selling links, and heaven forbid, in a very extreme scenario, you get a manual penalty on your website's removed from Google. I've seen it happen. Websites lose $1 million overnight. Like, you have to know who you're doing business with in life, but especially in link building. And
Yeah.
So maybe that's only two, but I think they're really, really important pieces that still, 10 plus years now into this career, I see people make this mistake all the time.
Nice. You remind me my first strategy in 2008. I didn't know anything then the strategy to buy more backlinks than my competitors had. That worked well. I got results, ranking positions, but that was 12 years ago, a lot.
Right?
And I know how to lose traffic for one day. When you lose a lot of traffic, a lot of sales, and when you take your head and don't know what I need to do, what's going on. I got this traffic. Check out my LinkedIn, my links. They are much better than competitors had. What I need to do? And then I started to learn more about white hat SEO. It's obsolete technique, I know. Today I don't use it, but at that time I didn't know other strategies because everyone bought links. Yeah.
100%. Everyone did. I remember those days well. It was the Wild West of SEO.
Yeah. We have a good question. What are the latest tools trending in content marketing?
Tools for content marketing. There's so many emerging. I have to say, this is actually a spreadsheet tool, like very sophisticated. But Airtable has become one of my favorite tools. Like I was always organizing in Google Sheets. Airtable takes that to the next level. You can apply content strategy. You can plug in your themes. You can actually create a process for writers. You can manage different stages of the writing process, assigning, editing, all of these things all the way up to publish. I really loved Airtable for that. I would say, SEO tools like Conductor are also starting to become more of a content marketing tool, which is really nice to see. They are one of my all-time favorite tools, and I haven't had the pleasure of working with the Searchlight product or any of their latest innovations since I was at networksolutionsweb.com, because it really is like an enterprise tool. So I haven't seen a lot of what they've been doing lately, but I am like forever a fan of their team, their tools, their overall sort of marketing really stays with me. But in the last year, I transitioned to SERPstat, and I love SERPstat. I can't say enough good things about SERPstat. It's sort of this all-in-one SEO tool where I can do I can do my site audits, I can do ranking scans, I can do keyword research, I can, track my positions over time, sort of everything you want from an SEO tool. And it's very reasonably priced. It's maybe $600 a year for my needs anyways. And no, I also like the layout. Like I find SEMrush to be a little overwhelming. There's so many new modules coming out all the time. Anyways, I was just really drawn to SERPstat in the last year and a half. Hasn't let me down. And then I found out this year that it's a Ukrainian tool. So I was even, happier to be supporting this tool. And I will continue to next year as well when it comes up for renewal. So yeah, I mean, those are some of my core SEO content marketing tools. Yeah.
Yeah, can you type the first tool I'll share in the comments? And I want to share to the description because I shared a conductor, SERPstat. I know about SERPstat, by the way. The SERPstat gave me the access to their tool because I review a few times this tool. Yeah, it's awesome tool, I know. And they're from my native city in Ukraine because I left Ukraine when the war started. So yeah, I know these guys. They're awesome to create this tool. And Conductor, I need to check out Conductor. I didn't use a lot. Probably I need to get back, to use. And I have the question about, we have the question on the chat. What are your thoughts on syndicate news website posts?
What are your thoughts on syndicated news website posts? It's interesting because I've had this column on Search Engine Journal since like 2014, I think. And every time we publish something, I'll get like 1,000 notifications about syndication. And it's interesting. I think syndication in other languages is really helpful because I think me personally, I wouldn't have the opportunity to reach those audiences if someone hadn't taken my post, translated it, and published it on another site. It used to really piss me off. Especially if it was a post that I'd worked really hard on and it was just starting to rank, because ultimately you're creating duplicate content, right? So when somebody syndicates, if they don't put the canonical tag to say, hey, this was the original post, this is where this information came from, originally posted on with the rel equals canonical in the code, then you're probably creating a duplicate content issue. So I have reached out to authors in the past for very important posts to say, hey, thank you, super flattering. Can you please just put this canonical tag in for me? And we'll all be good here, And more often than not, they're really happy to do that. And you sometimes make a great relationship out of it. So I'm cool with syndications. Do it right. That's it.
Can you tell about personalization? I mean, like how to build relationships, because you mentioned how you can build relationships just to ask people about adding canonical tag. What about building relationships in marketing? For example, we have a podcast right now. Yeah, that's good way for me, to build relationships, to grow your network. I think it's better to start your podcast because we have a lot of space, on podcasting field. Tell about your methods to build relationships with other marketers.
Building relationships with other marketers, there's different levels of relationships. So sometimes I'm looking to be mentored by someone in the space, and typically I'll start by consuming their content and learning about it. Maybe there's a specific question I'll want to ask. Maybe I'm writing about that topic and I'll leverage their expertise and bring it in, and hopefully I'll have more opportunities to do that, and they'll see that I've shared their knowledge in a nice light and will be happy to work with me again. Sometimes it's the opposite. Maybe it's a junior marketer and I want to mentor them because I see promise in them, or, so there's sort of that like growing, learning relationship. Sometimes you're networking with people who are in a different space, right? Like PR professionals. I love PR professionals, and they like learning from me as well. So we'll do a knowledge exchange. Like I'll share this framework with you, you share this framework with me, everyone's happy. In other cases, especially in the B2B space, I love working with complementary marketers. So marketers who are in a similar position at a complementary tech company, because, at Acquisio, we did this very often. We threw monthly webinars or ebooks, and we were constantly collaborating with our complementary partners. And it was such a good symbiotic relationship, right? Sometimes this team will carry the production and the other people will just guest star, and vice versa. You can really share the work, but you also have a louder voice. And so you get better results, and then everyone's happy and happy to collaborate again in the future. So like the nature of the relationship that you're building and sort of what you're looking to get out of it without, sounding too greedy, because sometimes you just make a relationship because you like that person. Like there's these marketers, Disco Sloth. Check them out. They're so good. Everything they do, their site is so clean. Their long form content, every page has its own URL. Like it's beautiful. I want to be their friends for no other reason than I think they're cool, So Disco Sloth, if you're listening, we should be friends.
Yeah, nice, love it. We have the question about because you mentioned about crawling. I have a website on which I crawl events and put it across on my website, but I don't add canonical links. Is it going to cause negative impact? What do you think?
I mean, potentially it could, right? Like if you're sort of just crawling other content and then pulling it in, ultimately that exists somewhere else, right? So for the person who published that content initially, it could create negative impacts for them. For your own website, Google's looking at it going, is this a unique, high quality, relevant source of information for this query? And I would say you're probably better off creating more of your own content to try and get there. Is it creating negative impacts? Check your analytics.
It's interesting to know about these websites. If you can share why you do you just scroll another content and share on your websites, it's interesting to know, because I often see when websites just take content, submit to their websites, they have low domain authority, zero traffic, but they do it. Yeah, just want to know, because for me, I don't know how to go ahead and what kind of results you can get if you just take other content and share on your website, because I have no idea why they do it. Yeah. I have the final question.
Okay.
Let's imagine you started today from scratch, without any experience, without any knowledge, without any skills. What would you do to learn more about content marketing?
If I had no experience and I still knew what I knew today, I would follow in my own footsteps. And what I mean by that is I would join a very reputable marketing agency early on in my career. And I know I said it earlier, but agency is really the only place where you're going to get exposure to different client types, different client sizes, different goals, channels, strategies. So, if you really want to create a career in content marketing or SEO, and you say, yes, this is for me, take the agency route, get mentored, start at the bottom, see how strategy changes for, across different verticals, and really get into it. Look at the why in each of those cases. But if maybe you're a business owner and you say, I would really like to learn SEO and content marketing, A, because I find it interesting, B, because I think it's going to help me sell more. Well, unpack it one topic at a time. Go to reputable sources like Search Engine Journal, like Search Engine Land. Don't try and take it all in at once. Say, okay, right now, I want to learn about the buying funnel. What does that mean for me in insurance? Or what does that mean for me in photography? And really read everything you can on that topic from like 1 to 3 high quality sources. Don't just scroll the internet for who's ranking first. Find those sources that are credible and then unpack one topic at a time and, create your little list of questions. Like, now that I've read everything I need to know about the buying funnel for insurance, I still don't understand X, Y, and Z, and then throw that on a forum. Reach out to one of your favorite writers that you've been talking to or reading about and try and get those questions answered, or hire a consultant. There's so many professionals out there who are willing to share their knowledge and help business owners to, really enter that world of content marketing and SEO.
Nice, love it. It's a big pleasure to get you on my show, to learn from you. Tell our audience how they can reach out to you, learn more about you, follow you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, on LinkedIn. I'm Chandal N, just my name with the letter N at the end. Reach out to me anytime. You can also check out my website, chandal.ca. I got that domain, pretty happy about it, where I offer consulting services, and you can read a little bit more about my career history there as well.
Okay, guys, you need to follow Chandal on Twitter, on any other places, open website, other consultancy. You can see a lot of value, so valuable insights. I've learned something new. I'm pretty sure that you can learn as well. Thanks again, for your time. It's a big pleasure. Guys, you can find all these links in the description below. Listen us on Apple, Google, Spotify, and see you next time.